Welcome back to Dying Light 2. As you probably saw in the previous episode, I ended up spending so much time just trying to get here that I ate through all of the time in the episode. This was actually the main thing I was going to do, which is talk to this dude. Now, if you did not just watch the previous episode, I should fill you in that basically this game is full of side quests. And this particular side quest seems to have some kind of scripting bug in it, where no matter how many times I beat this side quest, it always comes up when I quit the game and come back again. Now, it doesn't come up at the very beginning of the side quest. It comes up with the last step of the side quest. So I've already played this last step twice before, and I'm going to play it again so that we can actually discover something I'm kind of interested in together. So first off, what this side quest does is it makes you do something that normally the game tells you never to do, which is what makes it an interesting side quest. Normally the game tells you never go inside one of these dark hollows or forsaken stores in the middle of the day because they're just full of zombies. But when I got this side quest, it was the middle of the day, and the thing it told me to do was go inside one of those places. And so I'm very curious now, now that it's nighttime, is it going to play out the same way at night? Or like, how are they going to handle that? So let's talk to this dude. So basically, he's like a parkour expert who's racing me. And he has this weird tendency to do. He'll say, hey, let's go on a race to this place. And I will think I'm doing well, and then he'll already be at the destination whenever I arrive there. So he's just really, really good, apparently. So.
Oh, look at your face. Huffing and puffing. Who knew you were such an old man?
Is this a race? Or are you aiming to turn this into a fight?
Calm down, calm down. It's a race. In fact, how about we up the stakes? Say 5-1? What do you say?
Sure.
All right, you're on.
And we're off.
Okay, so he runs off camera, like people often do. And now we've got a marker at the site of the race. It's down there. Let's make sure. Okay, there is a howler right on top of it. But I think if I'm cautious, I can get in there without alerting the howler. Yeah, so I think if I just do a little tiny hop. Oh, crap. Sheesh. Okay, whatever. Oh, and that's barbed wire. Okay, it didn't notice me miraculously. Let's heal up a little bit, because there might be a lot of zombies in here. We're gonna have to see. Hey, get away. All right, so I'm gonna go under here where zombies can't follow me. And now my goal is to, okay, so normally, yes, this area is just chock full of zombies, and I'm like fighting through them the entire time. Now, it's got some zombies, but not as many. So actually, oh, except this is gonna be hard to climb with a zombie spitting at me. Take care of that. And then I gotta leap at this zombie. Kill it. And then go up this ladder. Right here. And outside. And now, just like before, he's already here. But he's complaining that there's a bunch of zombies that are threatening him that I now have to deal with. Oh, what the heck was that? Did I just get tackled by a nasty zombie? These level 4 zombies are everywhere now, and I don't feel like that's what I've been fighting before. I must have hit some kind of threshold where all of the zombies leveled up on me just now. Like, getting tackled like that is a thing that has not been happening to me thus far. Okay, hold on. I'm joining this guy up here for just a second. I am not used to zombies tackling me like that. That feels like a completely new thing. Okay. Okay, I was trying to use my death from above attack with that guy, but that apparently didn't work. Use my power attacks to try to hit multiple guys at once and hit them harder than usual to make this actually end. Okay, this is when I'm out of stamina. Who's left? This burning guy? Okay. So, let's wrap up the story, and then I want to talk a little bit about sort of how I think this probably went behind the scenes.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
What's going on here?
Babel, are you okay? You moron!
Oh, fuck me. The two of you are twins. No wonder you kept winning. When I started a race with one of you, the other was already at the finish line.
Look at him, Babel. His brain finally caught up to his legs.
You don't know when to stop, do you?
Wait, we're not bad people, okay? I mean, we're probably not all that good either, but my point is, everyone does what they do best, right? And this is just what we're good at. We tried to do other things, you know? Things we were not very good at. And we ended up getting in debt. Serious debt. And now we have to pay it.
So you scam people.
Nobody gets hurt. We're not bandits. Listen, what if we gave you back your wager and forgot about the whole thing, huh?
Okay, so originally what I did was tell them to keep the money. And it's a fairly small amount of money compared to, you know, how much I collect from other things. The problem is because I keep playing this mission again and again, I'm worried that it's just going to keep costing me this money again and again and again.
I can't blame anyone but myself. Should have seen you idiots coming a mile away. Just keep the damn money and get lost.
Really?
Yeah, really. Now get lost before I change my mind.
You numbskull! You had to let those biters catch you, didn't you? What, you think I did that on purpose? Give me a break.
I love the way that people just disappear barely off camera, right before they give control back, and then they're just miraculously gone. Okay, so I just wanted to talk. This is a really interesting mission, right? Because the concept of it is really cool. It's kind of this. It's almost like The Prestige or something like that. You know, where the twist is that there are people who, who look the same, who are pulling off tricks that seem like they should be impossible. So I'm betting that when this mission was first put on paper, it sounded like it was going to work really, really well, because it sounds like it's a really clever idea, right? But and I'm betting that when they originally planned it out, the idea was that you would meet the character at the beginning of the race. He would go first, and then you would chase him in, and or maybe maybe he would let you go first, and then you would run in, and then he would weirdly be at the end, like he had found another route and gotten there faster. And so I believe, and that actually would have sold it a lot better, I think, the way they were originally planning it. And actually, I think, let me find a place to go. And I'm going to try to run over here. So I wanted to check out a GRE Anomaly. I've beaten this one before, and because I'm not sure exactly at what rate the loot respawns, I don't know if this is going to be a very rewarding one, because I have beaten it in the past. This one I haven't beaten before, so I want to head down that way. So I'm going to head towards this destination while we're talking. So I imagine that when the design for this mission was first written down, it seemed like, wow, this is an incredibly clever idea for a mission. And it is, I agree with that sentiment. It is a very clever idea for a mission, and I really sort of enjoyed the surprise of it. But I think when they got into practice, they realized that while they could set up safe places to have conversations at the top of each of those races, because when you're on a rooftop, they have a lot of control over where the zombies go on rooftops. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to cross this gap. Can I jump this? I don't know. Let's find out. Yes, I can jump it. They've got a lot of ways to control where zombies are on the roof of a building. If they're not consciously spawning a zombie up there, you can't. It's very hard to attract one up there, especially if you've just been in the middle of a mission doing very mission-controlled things. And so they could put at the very top of each race, they could put a spot where you could talk to someone safely without having zombies interfere. But I think that they discovered in practice that even though actually each of those locations has a little bit of almost an airlock to it, as you're getting in, there's an entrance, and then there's a sort of another entrance that you have to get through. I think they probably found that no matter what, they couldn't safely put that character at the beginning of each of the races in a position where you could talk to them and sort of get the setup of, oh, I just saw that guy. How did he get there so fast? I think they probably could not do those setups for like bug reasons. Like basically no matter what they did, someone from QA would be like, no, actually, if you just attract a zombie in this way, they ruin the conversation and make it impossible for you to have the experience you're looking for. And so I think that's probably just, and I don't have any inside knowledge of this game. I did not work on this game or anything, but just from the experiences that I've had doing mission design on other games, it seems like they probably built the version where you actually saw the character at the bottom and at the top, and they really rammed home the idea that this guy is doing something weird to try to get to the tops of these races. It didn't work because somebody could get zombies into the wrong position. And so the mission designer was forced to back out to a secondary version of the mission where the character, you don't talk to them at the bottom of the hollow. Instead, you talk to them like a block away on a rooftop. You have the same dialogue there that you wrote for the beginning of the hollow. But then you actually have to, he gets to go off camera, and then you run down there and you go through the entrance that's on ground level, surrounded by zombies and howlers. You have to go there yourself without him. And so the illusion doesn't play out the way that I think they originally designed it. You can kind of get what they're trying to do. And as a player, if you do a little bit of extra work, you can make it work. But it doesn't quite have the effect that I think they originally planned, which is probably disappointing for the mission designer, because the version of it that existed in their heads was probably better than the version we ended up getting, and nobody likes sort of having, it's not fun to go to transition from the version of something in your head to the version that you kind of have to settle for because reality kicked in. And so because lots of missions that I've written and tried to implement have gone the exact same way. And so I have a lot of sympathy for whoever planned that mission, because they did have a really, really good idea, and it doesn't quite work, but I don't think that that's something that is really their fault. It's just kind of circumstance. So, and then I wouldn't be surprised, and this is, again, I am making this up. I have no like secret knowledge of what went on with this project, because I was not on it. But I wonder if, the fact that I've got a scripting error in that game, where the ending doesn't work the way it's supposed to, and whenever I leave the game and come back, that mission sort of returns to its mid-mission checkpoint. I'm wondering if that's actually related to this. I'm wondering if they found the issue, the bug that was making it so that your conversations with that character were going to be ruined by zombies. I wonder if they found that very late in production. I wonder if they actually found that, weeks away from the game having to be done, and the mission designer was forced to sort of implement a fix at the very last second. And if they had implemented a fix at the very last second, they might not have, it might not have gotten the QA coverage that it needed, and they might not have had time to fix everything with it. And so it would be very, very easy. The reason I'm thinking this might be the case is because I can imagine how easy it would be for a minor scripting error, for a subtle scripting error to sort of creep in when you're trying to solve a problem like that at the very last second under pressure. And so the fact that I've played that second half 3 times now might be specifically because that mission it had this crazy ambitious idea behind it that ultimately, ran into bugs that they couldn't overcome. Anyway, this is all guesswork. Again, I have no knowledge of what actually happened behind the scenes. But regardless of whether it's true in this case, what I'm describing has been true many times in many games. And so even if it's not true in this game, if there's some other explanation for everything that went wrong there, it's still, hopefully that commentary was interesting, because that is definitely a thing that happens generally, even if there's, no way to know if it happened here. Okay, so this place that I'm headed to over here, this is a GRE Anomaly. You see that guy over there with the big glowing back? That's a particularly tough zombie, and if I defeat him, I get prizes. Specifically, he's standing on top of this big box that I get to open if I defeat him. I'm pretty sure I haven't done this one before. I might have. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out what happens. So maybe... Oh, crap. So he's running away. Oh, you know what? This is looking familiar. I might have done this a while ago. So maybe what this is going to be is... Maybe this will be a test. Oh, crap. I just wasted that thing by accident. I should have held B to cancel it. So this guy has got the ability to bring other zombies to life. And so this place started out pretty empty, but it's slowly becoming more full as this guy messes around. Okay, so I took off some of his health. Not that much, but he's also on fire, which helps. Oh, crap. Right, I forgot. No, I got killed. I forgot that I was... Here's what happened. I threw an explosive at him. There were other explosives nearby, and I forgot about that. So my explosive triggered the other explosives. Where am I? Okay, I'm still close. Okay. My explosive triggered the other explosives, and I got caught in the other explosion. So, okay. We're going to do this again, slightly less stupidly, and see if I can do a better job. So I was mostly... Yeah, so he... Okay, so the zombies he raised are already up. His damage is healed, though. Oh, but the spear is back. No, it's not. Okay, well, fine. So really, I really did just respawn, but he healed. So I've got to kill him without me dying. Oh, come on. Normally those things get aimed a little bit better. All right, well, let's deal with this guy and his friends. So this guy can do several things that other zombies can do. He can spit at me, just like the spitty zombies. He can knock me around like some of the tougher big zombies. But he doesn't actually have, like, huge amounts of health. What he can do is run around and spawn other guys to help him. Okay, but I got him. So now I just got to deal with the other zombies. Or, because they're just garbage zombies, they can't even come up here. So, because I beat him, that unlocked this hatch right here. So, we're going to find out, because I'm looking at this place, it does look familiar. I might have already beaten this one. So, we'll see if there's anything down here, or if it's going to be like the last time. Oh, no, I haven't beaten this guy, because there would not be an inhibitor in here if I had already beaten him. So, I've got an inhibitor now. And I've got some purple stuff. And then what else is in this room? Anything else? Looks like we got some lockers with random garbage inside. Not much else, seems like. Oh, here's something. Oh, just a little immunity booster. Otherwise, not a whole lot. All right, that's cool. But still, you know, I got some inhibitors. That's great. And now the sun is coming up. It's beautiful. Cogs is joking. Oh, no permadeath. How silly. Yeah, this is definitely not a game you would want permadeath in because you don't have any backup characters to switch to. Oh, yay, Molotovs. So they surround these guys, by the way, with weapons you can use, things you can throw at them, that sort of thing. I imagine that, you know, once I've unlocked higher level versions of them, these fights are going to get really, really bad, and I'm going to be glad for all of these surrounding weapons. That's why I was running around trying to find spears, because historically when I fought these guys, they were actually really helpful. In this particular case, it seems like it didn't actually matter that much, but there we go. Yeah, so that's a GRE Anomaly. And so now I've got about 15 minutes until my next meeting. So I don't know, I could probably do like one other thing. I don't know what to do, though, exactly. I mean, there's side missions around here, but you never know how long a side mission is going to go. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's look at this. This is a combat challenge. It's kind of a short one, and so I think that might actually be an interesting sort of final thing to do as we're sort of wrapping up this episode. So we've already seen... Oh, I can't climb up that? Fine. Let's climb up this side. So we've already seen parkour challenges. Which, you know, sort of tell you, oh, you need to follow this series of checkpoints and get to the end within a certain time, and that determines, you know, what your prize is. And your prize is delivered in terms of, like, experience points, basically. This is a combat challenge, which is very similar. They give you a weird combat scenario, and you've got to try to, oh, it happens during the night. Okay, great. I guess it'll be nighttime again. So I've got to do a weird thing in combat within a certain time limit. And so they've given me a weapon that has, like, really powerful hits with just a lot of physics. And so I've got to try... So power attacks specifically, the attacks that I charge up with this weapon, are what send the zombies flying. And so when I miss with a power attack, it costs me time. And so this is mostly about teaching me how to hit with power attacks, because power attacks have a long delay on them, during which a zombie can hit you and cancel your attack, like those zombies just did to me. And so learning how to time them appropriately so you're actually consistently hitting zombies is really difficult. And so this is a place where I can practice that, and I'm rated on how well I see. That time, the delay screwed me up, and the guy had gotten out of my crosshairs before it fired off. Okay, so I think I just hit a boundary where I missed out on the best prize. But I got silver that time. I didn't get gold because I didn't get it done in a minute, mostly because of those couple of early times when I missed. But I got silver, which means I got some more experience. So that was pretty cool. I like that. Again, this is another case of them thinking of, well, how does the game usually work? Usually you're trying to take down the zombies' health bars. But what if you were in a scenario where you're in a tight space and you've got a weapon that can just shoot zombies as far as it wants to? What would that be like? And so they're basically taking their existing combat experience and giving you a weird version of it and just showing you how varied it can be. And actually, one thing that makes me want to do is there an upgrade to my weapon that I can get that will let me play that way, like under normal conditions? Because if there is, that sounds amazing. I would love to do that. And so what it does is it kind of gets me thinking about their combat system, how interesting it could be, and how powerful I could potentially be. And that's kind of fun. It makes the game feel more interesting and more varied. No, I can't climb up that. All right, yeah. So there we go. Yeah, Cog says, in this game, you should have permanent death, and if you die, you should start over completely from scratch. Which is, obviously he's joking, because this game has a long tutorial sequence that no one wants to go through again just because they miscalculated in combat. And that's something we have to think about, when you're designing a game that you want people to invest in long term, particularly, I believe that these folks have talked about wanting to keep supporting this game long after release. And when that's the case, you have definitely got to give people, as few reasons as possible to quit playing your game entirely. Because if you give people moments, like shelf moments in the game where they're like, I've just lost something that is so important to me, I can never come back. Like, for instance, if I ended up making a decision that I didn't understand in that story mission that I talked through in the previous episode, if I had made a decision there by accident that had a massive, factional impact on the story going forward, that would make me feel pretty bad. That could depend, if I wasn't already very committed to playing a ton of this game because it's important research for me, that's an area, if that went wrong for me, that could kick me out of the game and make me not want to play anymore. I actually stopped playing Far Cry 6 because a minor scripting error with a treasure chest or whatever, a hidden treasure, kept that hidden treasure in my HUD permanently, and I was like, not dealing with this anymore, tired of this thing in my HUD. The whole reason I chase down all these icons in Ubisoft games is to make because it feels so good to make all the icons go away. And so if there's an icon that's staying forever, I'm not getting any satisfaction out of this game and I've got to leave. You don't want to create those for players if you've got a game that you want them to play long-term as a hobby and really commit to. Because if you do, basically your audience is going to be, rapidly shrinking over time. And instead of maintaining a sort of a long and consistent audience of people who are eager for the next thing that you add to expand and enhance your game, you'll end up with just, a constantly churning cycle of new players who eventually fall off when they hit the points where it gets too frustrating and they have to stop. And so it is sort of, I don't know if it really is if it's an economic thing that's reaching into the game and affecting the way you design it. It's partially economical, but it's also partially community building, where, if what you want from the game is for it to be a hobby that a lot of people are sharing together that can grow over time and be much better 5 years in than it was on first release, which I think is something that a lot of game developers want, then even if you leave sort of the economic motivation of wanting people to be investing in a game long term, even if you leave that aside, it still really makes you want to make sure that your game does not have a lot of frustrating shelf moments in it. Frustrating shelf moments, the time when people just put the game on the shelf and they stop playing it forever. Obviously, people will always try to avoid them. But, there are certain games where, it's okay if the game has a shelf moment for some people. They're like, oh, yeah, you were supposed to play this game for 10 hours, you played it for 8, but that's fine. You got what you came for out of it. cool. Sorry you weren't able to get to the end. There's a lot of games for which that's just completely normal, what you expect. That some players aren't going to want to play it all the way to the end, and that's okay. But if your main goal is that sort of long-term relationship and long-term commitment, then yeah, you have to design your game around not driving players away that way. So yeah, long story short, I mean, I know Cogs was joking, but still, long story short, that's a very strong reason not to put permadeath in this game. And actually, I think it's one of the good decisions that was made in State of Decay 1, which is, State of Decay 1 doesn't have a lose condition. Breakdown has a lose condition. Lifeline has a lose condition, but State of Decay 1 does not. They will always keep giving you an additional character. Because that game has a lengthy tutorial sequence, you don't want to go through a second time unless you're really, really committed to the game. And if there was a point you could get to easily in State of Decay 1 where you've lost all your playable characters and they didn't give you another one, that would be a shelf moment for State of Decay 1 for most people, and they would not get, committed to the game long term. And so I think that was actually the right decision for State of Decay 1 to give you a character. If you lost all your playable characters, to just hand you a character and let you keep going. State of Decay 2, we decided not to do that, but we do like throw recruits at you like crazy if your number of playable characters gets low enough. We also have more, like, all of your characters in your community are playable. And when you start a new game, we give you a really easy tutorial skipping option. And so because of those elements of the game, that it's very easy to recruit, all the characters are playable, and it's easy to start again, without having lost all that much and not feeling like, ugh, I have to play through 5 hours of tutorial before I'm in the real game. That made it possible for us to make there be an easy lose condition to reach in State of Decay 2 because the game is structured differently. But like all of those choices, they're all related to each other. They're all intertwined. And if we make the wrong combination of them, we could lose a lot of players. Oh yeah, so Cogs, I did take a break from Chernobylite after I stopped streaming it, and I did not get I got a sense of roughly how the relationship system was supposed to work, which was very helpful. Cogs is suggesting in the chat that there's a lot I could learn about the relationship system in Chernobylite. Oh, thank you, game, for auto-pausing me when I was idle for a certain time. That was great. So I think there probably is value for me going back. There's probably a lot more nuance I could learn about the relationship system by going back to it. But I haven't yet, just because, there's just so many games I need to play. And so I took a break from that one, but I would not be surprised if I went back at some point to try to see what else I could learn. Anyway, we've got about 5 minutes until my meeting, and so I should probably go. But thank you all for hanging out with me. This was great. I actually am ending the stream this time. This is the third episode I've shot all back to back. So I keep having people thinking that I'm done streaming when I'm actually just ending a YouTube video. But really, I actually am not streaming anymore after this. So thank you all very much. This was cool. Hopefully, I'll be able to see you. I'm going to try to stream around noon Pacific time at lunch every day this week if I can. We'll see if that ends up being possible. That's what we see. Like, I've got my little outro screen here that I usually play after the episodes that says I try to stream weekdays at noon Pacific time. That's true, especially emphasis on the word try. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. I'll see you all tomorrow. There's a subscribe button. There's my next Dying Light 2 episode, assuming that I do one. And here's something else.